Be in the know with unlimited access to IBJ and Inside Indiana Business. Our in-depth coverage of all things business means you'll always be completely in the know. Subscribe for just $1 a week. Get started now at ibj.com/trial offer.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Thursday, March 12th, 2026. I'm Alex Brown. The Horizon League's college basketball championships will be a new annual attraction at the Arena at Innovation Mile in Noblesville. The Indianapolis-based conference announced a 5-year agreement in which the second-round games, semifinals, and the finals of men's and women's tournaments will be played at the arena from 2027 to 2031. Noblesville Mayor Chris Jensen.
We made a big investment in that arena, stood alongside the Indiana Pacers, and they planted their flag as their next chapter here in Noblesville. I think it signaled to not only Indiana, but the Midwest and quite frankly, the nation, that Noblesville is open for business, that we want to be a part of the conversation. You know, that led us to land USA Gymnastics and their Olympic Training Center, to think every Olympic gymnast will train in Noblesville, Indiana, in this same arena that the Horizon League will play in. That's exceptional. And I think the arena has played a huge impact.
The arena's capacity for basketball games is 3,500 people, about half of the Corteva Coliseum in Indianapolis, where the tournaments are currently played. Fort Wayne-based Vera Bradley has announced Ian Bickley as the company's new chairman and CEO. Bickley, who has been a member of the Vera Bradley Board of Directors since November 2024, has served as the company's executive chairman and board chair since last June, following the departure of former CEO Jackie Ardrey. The Fort Wayne City Council has approved plans for a new hotel development on the city's southeast side, a project officials say could help attract additional investment to an area that has seen limited growth in recent years. A construction timeline for the $9.5 million project is not yet known. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media Podcast Network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise at ibj.com to learn more.
University of Notre Dame sophomore Alejandro Simon is looking to help Spanish-speaking people get better access to healthcare. He founded Azam Health Technologies, which is developing a digital platform that stemmed from a trip to his native El Salvador, where he witnessed the barriers many people face in accessing quality care.
They repeatedly told us that it was it's something that could have been treated, but the Social Security, the ISSS was super far away from us, and when we went, they made us wait for 15 hours, and the quality of care wasn't so good. The cost reward was not worth it at all for them, and this was a dire need that people had, right? So I returned back home, started doing some research into what the problem really was, and saw this was a repeated chain across Central America and Latin America as well, right? Where people don't have access to great quality of care with the Social Security, and they need to look for these alternatives, right? And this is how this idea was all born.
Now at Notre Dame, he is expanding the platform's reach, incorporating AI features and connecting patients in the U.S. with doctors who understand their language and culture. He's bringing the platform to the ACC InVenture Prize on March 27th at South Bend's Embassy Suites Hotel, where he will compete against top student innovators from across the conference. Duna Services, an electric utility services provider headquartered in the Elkhart County town of Wakarusa, is under new ownership. Toronto-based Acon Utilities Group said this week it has acquired Duna Services and its subsidiaries, along with a 49% stake in Michigan-based KNX Utility Services, in a $60 million deal. Duna Services employs about 350 people, though it was not immediately clear if any jobs would be negatively impacted by the deal. 1 year after opening its doors, the Putnam County YMCA has broken ground on its next phase. Work has begun on a $10 million natatorium, which will add 13,000 square feet to the Greencastle facility. Ryan Penrod, CEO of the YMCA of the Wabash Valley, says the public is excited since the natatorium originally was not going to be part of the facility.
I think now people are really excited to know that, hey, we're going to have an indoor recreational facility that can be used year-round by all community members. And I believe that will allow the YMCA to continue to meet the needs of the community from a health and wellness standpoint.
Construction is slated for completion in July 2027. Outgoing Indiana State Fair Commission Executive Director Cindy Hoy is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports and entertainment, and beyond. Available now on the IBJ Media app or your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.
You know, the economy and the market are in a hairy place these days. It's up a lot, it's down a lot, it's sideways, and it seems on the hour there's breaking news coming out of all areas of the country. How do you get your head around that? How do you not go crazy in the process? I'm Peter Dunn. You may know me as Pete the Planner, IBJ columnist, and my job for years has been to help you understand your financial life better in context with everything else going on. So, what am I encouraging you to do? Well, listen to the Pete the Planner Show. Yeah, it's a podcast. You can get it wherever you get your podcasts, or simply listen at ibjpodcasts.com.
Your commute just got smarter. Turn drive time into growth time. The IBJ Media Podcast Network gives you front row access to leaders shaping Indiana's economy, culture, and future. No filler, just smart, relevant, local storytelling you won't get anywhere else. Find all of our shows by searching IBJ Media in your podcast app or visit ibjpodcasts.com.